We have 24 hours to make an entire horror game. That's work hours, 2 12-hour days, so you know, we can eat, sleep, and not want to die and stuff. See, for the last year now, we've been working on a separate game called Feed the Pit, and while it's going well and the ending is rapidly approaching, it's taken longer than expected. So we thought, hey, let's make a small game in 24 hours, that'd be easy. It was not easy. You're about to experience this journey with us. You're a kid in the backseat of your parents' car on a long road trip. To pass the time, you play on your Game Kid, which is like a Game Boy DS hybrid, and in the game, you pass between levels and scavenge for supplies, but the supplies you collect appear in the real car. And so, when a monster begins attacking the back seat, you must use the items you've collected to defend yourself. I'm Isaac.
I'm Gunner. I'm Preston.
And let's start. 3, 2, 1... Go!
Go!
Let's get to this.
First thing I'm going to do is I'm gonna get that repeating 3D level of just the road, the grass, the trees, and it'll just repeat over and over again.
Hello everybody, my name is Markiplier, and welcome back to making a video game in 24 hours.
To start this 24 challenge off, I'm going to be modeling a car for the game. I need a picture of a car. Okay, this is good. This is a good shape for it. If it would load.
We're starting at, good old 12:05 because I fell asleep setting my alarm again because I was up a little late last night.
Okay.
Smith, I really love you stepping on paper bags. Starting recording. That was really friendly of you.
For some of us, these were very frantic times, so we didn't always think to talk about what we were working on. But for me, I knew that with the entire game taking place in a car, that's where I had to start. I found this great reference model on Sketchfab from KTKR, and so I basically just took this van from our real game, Feed the Pit,
which you should totally wishlist,
and reshaped it to look like the Sketchfab car in a low poly style. Is the model perfect? No. Am I still proud of it? Yes. Do I only have 22 hours left? Yup, so I'm moving on.
Off the bat, I knew immediately that I needed 3 things. Repeating level for the drive, Game Kid functionality, and monster AI. I started with the repeating level, and using these beautiful gray boxes, I made the repeating level. Then, I made basic functionality for the Game Kid. The Game Kid can be toggled by hovering your mouse over an invisible bar, which, yes, was inspired by Five Nights at Freddy's. At this time, the Game Kid has the player with basic movement and the ability to pick up items. Since I was focused on playability, the level currently was very bare bones. Oh, and let's not forget to plop that car model in there as well. Very nice.
So far, I got the player sprite fired off of Link from Link's Awakening on the Game Boy. I got a cool spinning flashlight animation, some chicken for the player to pick up because they're going to need to keep a hunger bar. And then I got a couple trees and some tiles. I've been trying to make the level, at least level 1.
The player is always in the backseat, and there's a monster that sort of wants to get in and shred them to little pieces. It can attack from the front, back, left, and right. So we decided that the controls would work best if, instead of a free-moving camera, you just press a key and whip your head in that direction. I made all the camera animations on my end, then found out we have no idea how to send camera animations from Blender to Godot, so instead I copied the animation onto a cube, sent Gunner the cube, and he put the animation from the cube onto the in-game camera.
What I have is a car model that Isaac sent. We got a little animation already in, and then we have a very basic system of the Game Boy in place. Luckily, the camera animations were actually really simple to put in. However, since each camera animation was a different file, I then had to figure out how to get each camera animation onto one animation player instead of like 20. Maybe not the wisest choice, but it probably would have been more tedious if all the animations were one file, especially since that would mean Isaac would have to send it over and over for new animations. I also continued to work on the Game Kid and got a level implemented, along with a new camera system that better fits this era of games. We also got our first item implemented into the Game Kid, the flashlight. Currently, when picked up, it does nothing though.
This is what I call a flow map. Basically, when I was doing level design, I decided to kind of draw the flow that the player would, go, and trying to make sure that the player never has spots where they need to really double back. Depending on how the rest of this 24-hour development goes, we might add a couple more items, so some of these might be switched out.
At this point, with 4 hours already gone, I decided to switch gears and start working on the game's monster. To save some time, I took this old monster we had, ripped off all its limbs. I thought it'd be creepy and save some time in animation if he simply had giant spikes at the end of each limb instead, so that's what I did. Then covered his whole body in a fleshy red. The head was a lot trickier, and I spent a little too much time messing around with different directions until finally setting on having some bulging eyes and a creepy skin mask all covering a hideous mouth.
Currently, we have a basically fully functioning Game Boy game. The final task left on my initial list was monster AI. It would be a good idea for me to get some of the AI done before Isaac sends over the model. as implementing the animations after I get the AI working sounds much more manageable than doing both at the same time. So I programmed the AI first. I put these cubes at each of the entry points, and one of these cubes would appear after some time. If the cube was left untended to, the cube would disappear and damage the entry point.
Hi.
Obviously, it looks weird without the monster model, but this is basically all I need for the AI. With this, I also threw in the rest of the camera animations.
It was time to work on texturing models. I utilized the van textures to form them into a blue car looking texture. And modeled the flashlight as you see here. Wow. I didn't have to do too much on the interior of the car because the game is quite dark, so that made things a lot easier. Yippee! Not only that, but I finished up the monster, reworking the model Isaac made and making some textures to be used in the game to make it a lot more scary and visceral looking.
For the rest of the first day, I switched my focus to pumping out all the monster animations, cause there's a lot. He can approach from 4 different sides, so that needs an animation, and then he'll sit there for a while until you flash him with a light, at which point he retreats, that's another animation. But if you don't flash him, then he instead breaks through the window, which is another animation, then the door until he simply enters the car and kills you, another animation. Oh, and there's a jump scare! So with only a lot of fear about if any of this was possible, I started the grind, but it was actually going really smoothly and I didn't encounter a single problem. Now, I try to stay pretty unafraid when there's inclement weather, but when my power goes out and I start getting random texts from friends several states away saying, "Hope you're safe down there," I mean, yeah, I start getting a bit squeamish. And so as 5 separate tornadoes begin to form in my county, yes, I hid in the bathroom of my unshielded apartment with my phone, a flashlight, and a bowl of Lucky Charms. And there I stayed for a couple hours with my apartment shaking a bit at one point, waiting for the storm to pass me over.
Oh, it has currently been about 10 humble hours. Mentally, I'm definitely plateauing. There's still a lot that needs to be done. I took the road and grass textures from Feed the Pit and threw them into the repeating level. The flashlight would now spawn in the car when picked up from the game and could be equipped and used at the windows. The monster was working, as he would appear and then get scared off when flashed. However, by this point, I didn't have any other animations, so the monster's model would only appear in the left window, but he could show up anywhere, which was pretty hilarious. Oh my goodness. I actually scared bro away.
I think Gunner will ever recover from all
You have to shut up.
So this is the game Kid, but I decided to go with kind of a purplish brownish. I might end up changing it later. I'm gonna see what Gunner and Isaac think too. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. I also finished the monster, which we're still debating on the name. For now, I'm calling it the Skinned. It looks really dorky like this, but in its actual animation, it should look pretty scary. Got about probably 45 minutes about left for the night, and yeah, Yahoo! That's what Mario says.
I recently just finished up my 12 hours for the game. All in all, a pretty solid day.
Day 1 is over. I survived a tornado. I put in some extra hours, 14 today, and got most of the monster animations done, but there's a lot left to do still. I'm nervous, but I'm optimistic. 24. I had a nightmare where I forgot to tell you that this video is sponsored by Skillshare. I know you've heard about Skillshare a ton of times before, but we're offering something free, okay? So let's know. See, Skillshare is the largest online learning community for creatives in any field. And you don't have to already be an expert. You can use Skillshare to learn it. They've got classes tailored to all skill levels from beginner to pro, all taught by industry experts and veterans. So if there's something you've been wanting to learn, like art or writing or making music, this is the place to do it. They have thousands of classes covering a huge array of topics and different classes for different softwares too. There's no better time to take your skills, hobbies, or passions to the next level. And all you need to get access is take this special ring, which has a very special secret, which I'm about to show you. See the glyphs? Translate! It says that the first 500 people to use our link in the description will receive a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. So take this very cool, very ancient ring and get started today. Click the link in our description to join, and a big thank you to Skillshare. I started day 2 with only 10 hours left on my clock to finish everything. I decided that in order to save time on the animations, I just flipped the model for the different sides of the car so I don't need to make as many variations. And with those taken care of, I needed to do sound effects because this is a horror game after all. Sound design is important. Usually for sounds, I just pull them from a sample library and then make some adjustments in FL Studio. But half of these sounds are coming out of this little console, so they need to sound like it. I tried a few effects, and the best ones seem to be taking a sample, putting this Destructor plugin on it, and then selecting Lo-Fi. A little tweak of these settings and sounds turn from this into this. Crunchy.
Alright, it's a new day. It's It's 12 p.m. currently, it's noon, and I'm going to finish off my last 12 hours of work. For day 2, I was jumping from task to task, but the first thing I did was implement the drive section in the game kit. This level is when the monster would attack in real life, and it would be used to detect when the monster attacks the car, so I would have to also sync it up with the actual in real life movements of the monster. I also added all 5 levels to the game kit, along with some more monster animations. Instead of only the model on the left, it was also now working for the right side, and the attack was working great. And surprisingly, it was only now that I added the hunger mechanic for the game kit. The code for it was pretty sloppy, as you could lose hunger while going from one section to another, but oh well, it worked. Let's move on.
Most of my day was spent finalizing models for the items and getting last details in. Nothing too crazy to highlight, just a lot of me making a soda can, which didn't even make it in the 24-hour version, and watching BoJack Horseman on the side while I worked, on top of playtesting versions gonna release. So, I'll show off what some of the items do. So here we have that alleged soda can. The player drinks this and is given 15 seconds of no monster time. That's right, the monster just leaves you alone for 15 seconds. This is great time to utilize to repair the windows and doors and place bear traps and, you know, pray to Elijah. Speaking of barricades and bear traps, barricades are pretty self-explanatory and barricade any broken windows or missing doors, while bear traps prevent the monster from attacking you if there's no barricade or door or window.
Over the course of a few hours, I punched out nearly 100 sounds, including this song. But now, with only 5 hours left on my timer, I turned my attention to the game's story. We knew all the beats, but needed the specific dialogue. For 1 hour, I sat in utter silence, typing away, and I did it. The ending calls for a short cinematic, so I set up this little forest scene, placed down the game kit, and set up the screen to play a video. Done.
By this point, it dawned on me how much we still needed. Some features are gonna have to wait for the 1.1 version. The two right off the bat I knew I was not getting in was the soda item and the 2D monster chasing the player in the game kit levels. Anyway, I added some finishing touches to the game kit drive, and text boxes were also added to the game kit. The final animations were implemented, and the forward camera was changed to act differently from the other directions. Instead of leaning forward to flash the monster when he's on the front, you will instead be shown that the monster is in front of the car and you have to go forward and steer it away. We then collectively glazed the new opening animation of the game kit that Isaac sent.
What are you doing?
And the parents' dialogue was added, story was added, and the ending sequence was implemented. Thankfully, the ending sequence caused no issues and was relatively fast to put in. If you're wondering why I was worried, you can pause and read this block of text.
At the end of my day 2, I was mainly just fixing up any texture issues I noticed, which sadly would go unused in the 24-hour version. But it was fixing things like texture clarity, font adjustments to make it more legible, a white outline around the hunger bar to make it stand out more from the background, and other things I can't remember. Minor adjustments like this in game development can go a far way in keeping the player immersed, which for a lot of games is one of the most important things.
Day 2 is over. Had to cut it a bit short. We're just pushing what's left on our timer into a day 3. Preston and I did more of our time early, so Gunnar would have more left in the end, because everything we make he has to add in. Some content definitely is not gonna make it in. We're too ambitious. I'm definitely nervous. The end ahead of us, it was obvious that not everything was gonna make it in the game. So the question was, how close could we get? My day 3 timer began with just 30 minutes left, and I had about 2 hours of work left, so I sorted by priority and moved with the speed of an American Lockhart SR-71 Blackbird. A couple other small things. Oh my lord, the bear trap is freaking huge! The most important piece missing on my end were the monster sounds. It always attacked in complete silence, so take this whale sound, distort, bip bap boom, done. I animated all the bear traps, and I tried making a starving sound effect, but it was so horrible we didn't use it, and... Okay.
Alright, so we are on our final 2 hours and 10 minutes.
I finished my time, so I'll just send over everything I have now.
What was I gonna do? We gotta take out this soda. I have an hour left, and I'll export a version and we'll both test.
Wait, what? Oh no, the glitch happened. I picked up another item and then set it down, and now my flashlight doesn't work. Gotta remind myself, focus on the items. The game will be enhanced significantly when we get to add in the 2D monster later. Shame I can't.
Oh yeah, that didn't have a lot.
Yeah, Young Money, Nicki Minaj, Justin, show you off. Tonight I want to show you off. Hey,
This is what I needed.
what you got?
How much is left?
26 humble minutes, and I don't even know if the barricade it works. So,
Barricade's not working.
We have 20 minutes.
The only big thing that I would consider having us at is the bear trap, but even that I don't feel like is a safe use of time.
There is no way we have time for the bear trap. If the barricade is giving me that much trouble for pre-placed spots, yeah, no. 10 minutes left.
Finish quick, got other bugs.
Like
Are we in the
purple
last
tunnel.
10 minutes right now?
We have 3.5 minutes.
What? Bro!
You have, Gunner, you locked us in
Title
30
screen was
seconds.
such a waste!
The death screen is
Oh
in.
my
The
God.
death is in. It's fine.
I really wanted the window wind sound. God, the title screen was such a waste!
Good.
Okay,
Add in the WISD! Add in the control scheme! This I would have had us at anyways for you. Bro, it's over.
please.
It's over!
What'd you name it? Okay.
Control. Bottom left!
My bottom left. That's right.
It's fine. No, you're done! It's over! That's 24 hours! Quit programming! And just like that, our 24 hours were up. We did finish something, but definitely not everything. The game is still pretty rough, and with hindsight, it's clear we were too ambitious. But despite it all, I'm still proud of what we accomplished. It's just a shame that we have a pretty cool concept which will never get to be fully realized.
Are you sure?
Alright, we stuck to the 24 hours, yippee hooray, but who's to say we can't make a second full version of the game? And we've still got several months before a real game, Feed the Pit, comes out, so why not make something quick and easy for everyone to chew on? I present to you the Dead Seat, our 24-hour game made into a polished product. This game is a total upgrade, fuller story, creepier monster, enriched gameplay, the works. And you can play it right now for free on itch.io, linked in the description. The 24-hour version of the game is also there, but we highly recommend you play the full version first, because the 24-hour one is held together by duct tape. And in 2 weeks from today, The Dead Seat will launch on Steam for $2.99 with double the content, including achievements and a hard mode, which continues the game's story. It is cheaper than a medium fry from McDonald's, so please give it a wishlist and check it out on release. You buying it could change our lives. Alternatively, you could just join our Patreon for just $3, because all our patrons are getting a free Steam copy of The Dead Seat plus other rewards. $10 patrons get to playtest all our games. Last call to action, I promise, but consider wishlisting our big game, Feed the Pit, on Steam, and join our Discord for more updates. Alright, that's all the fun stuff you should do. A huge thank you to all our patrons, and an extra special shout out to Alex Amalur, Shiverr, Tibbers, Xadu, and Zest. Thank you all so much,
And we'll see you soon.